I spent the last 3 months tracking down people who actually build boats for a living. Not the sales guys at the boat show, not the marketing team. The people on the factory floor, in the fiberglass shop, and behind the service counter. I asked every one of them the same question. If you were spending your own money, what would you never buy? 15 people gave me answers, and honestly, some of them made me sick. Number 1. A gelcoat and lamination specialist with 12 years in hull production told me he would never buy a boat without tapping the hull sides first. After a hurricane in Fort Lauderdale, a marine surveyor cut open damaged production boats and found hull walls only 3/16 of an inch thick. 2/3 of that wasn't even fiberglass. It was some kind of brittle putty filler that crumbled between his fingers. The boats shattered like glass bottles. This worker said the industry calls it cost optimization. He calls it disposable boats. Number 2. A quality inspector who walked Tidewater's dealer lots told me he would never buy a budget bay boat without pulling every hatch open first. He checked 6 brand new Tidewater 220 bays on the same lot. Paper-thin gel coat with voids underneath, 10 chips from normal trailering, screws instead of through bolts on deck hardware, and not a single rear door latch lined up properly. Every hatch leaked. The front casting platform flexed when he stood on it. These boats run 10 to 25 grand cheaper than a comparable Sea Hunt or Sportsman, and now you know exactly where that savings comes from. Number 3. An assembly line worker from a major manufacturer told me he would never buy a boat built during peak production season. His plant pushes 10 to 11 boats per shift. If your station isn't done when the line rolls, the boat ships anyway. He found fiberglass shavings falling out of dashboards for weeks after delivery, screws through the hull secured with silicone instead of proper molded nuts, and stripped screw holes on brand new hatches. The mandate from management was always the same: roll the line. Number 4. A service technician who works on premium center consoles told me he would never buy a Scout without pulling the console off the deck first. He personally watched every mounting screw back itself out approximately 1 inch on a Scout 17-foot. The dealer filled the holes with 5,200 marine sealant and installed larger screws. Those backed out again within 1 hour of running. A Scout 28-foot in his shop disintegrated over 5 years of coastal use. He said the phrase around his shop is lipstick on a pig. Number 5. A stringer specialist told me he would never buy a pre-2008 used boat without coring the transom first. He has torn apart hulls where the stringers were nothing more than foam-filled boxes with walls 1/8 of an inch thick and tops made of 1/2 inch plywood. Once salt water gets in, the wood rots from the inside and you cannot see it until the floor gets soft. Composite alternatives have existed for decades. 97% of builders still use the cheapest method available. Number 6. A Mercury outboard mechanic told me he would never buy a pre-2011 Verado without checking the lower unit housing diameter. The original gear case was too small for the engine's supercharged torque, gear teeth stripped, or the whole case grenaded under load. Replacement runs $3,000 to $5,000. Mercury eventually redesigned to a larger housing, which basically confirmed the original was undersized. Number 7. A Yamaha specialist told me he would never buy a 2004 to 2009 F150 without confirming the harmonic balancer has been replaced. The original uses a composite plastic gear that disintegrates without warning. When it fails, fragments block oil passages and starve the engine. Preventive replacement costs about $300. If you miss it, the powerhead replacement runs $8,000 to $15,000. Yamaha released 4 different versions trying to fix the same part. That should tell you everything. Number 8. A multi-brand shop owner told me he would never put a Yamaha HPDI 250 or 300 on his own boat. The fuel system uses 5 separate pumps, multiple hidden filters, and injectors running at 750 to 1000 psi. The 250 and 300 had insufficient oil delivery at planing RPMs, and he saw scored pistons within 75 hours on new engines. When I asked what he runs personally, he said a competitor's engine. Even a Yamaha factory tech told him the same thing off the record. Number 9. A service shop owner told me he would never buy a used Evinrude E-TEC today. BRP killed the brand in 2020, and the engine management module costs $3,000 to replace. That is roughly 1/3 the original engine price. The modules are keyed to injectors, so you cannot swap used parts. You must buy new from BRP, and authorized dealers are disappearing every month as shops pivot to Mercury and Yamaha. Number 10. Every single mechanic I talked to said the same thing unprompted. They would never skip the water pump impeller on any outboard they own. Running an engine dry for 60 seconds destroys the rubber impeller. Broken pieces get sucked into cooling passages and cause overheating that kills the powerhead. The impeller costs $15 to $60. They see this failure every single week. Number 11. An electronics installer told me he would never buy a first-generation Garmin LiveScope unit used. He has documented signal degradation where image quality drops after just 6 outings. A Garmin lead engineer confirmed that the circles appearing on screen indicate the AHRS sensor is failing. Transducer replacement costs around $1,000 with only a 2-year warranty. Firmware updates have also caused targets to vanish in a 10-foot zone directly beneath the boat. Number 12. A trolling motor technician told me he would never buy a Minn Kota Ultrex without opening the housing to inspect the wiring first. Inside a $4,000 trolling motor, the steering power wire connects through a 46-cent Molex connector that is not even water resistant. The part number is 43025, available from any electronics supplier. Steering failures, motor screws vibrating loose, and foot pedal sensor faults are all documented repeatedly on fishing forums. Number 13. A trailer specialist told me he would never trust the tires or bearings that come stock on a budget boat trailer. Botus collected data from over 6,600 roadside assistance calls, and 65% of all failures came from just 2 things: tires and wheel bearings. Tires fail from UV rot and age, not mileage. Bearings fail because salt water gets in at the ramp and then cooks at highway speed. Preventive maintenance costs $50 to $100 a year. Emergency roadside replacement runs $500 to $1,000 or more, and a high-speed failure can destroy the hub, spindle, and axle. Number 14. A former dealership finance manager told me he would never pay a dealer prep fee without demanding an itemized breakdown first. He watched his own dealership charge $5,500 for prep on a Yamaha 252 SE. The actual cost was closer to $1,500. He also told me extended warranties are roughly 50% pure profit for the dealer. They are negotiable, and you typically have up to 9 months after purchase to buy one direct from the engine manufacturer. Nearly 1 in 4 warranty complaints he saw involved dealers who collected the money but never registered the contract. The customer had 0 coverage and didn't know until something broke. Number 15. A veteran with over 20 years on the factory floor told me he would never buy a boat built between 2020 and 2022 without an independent marine survey. During the pandemic, his plant and others pushed unfinished boats out the door to meet demand. Sea-Doo shipped incomplete switch pontoons to dealers and later recalled every single unit produced for capsizing risk after an infant suffered a catastrophic brain injury at a boat ramp. If you are shopping 3 to 5-year-old used boats right now, you are walking directly into that production window. Get the survey. Those are 15 answers from 15 people who see the inside of boats every day. Not opinions from a boat show, not marketing copy. Physical evidence from the people who build them, fix them, and sell them. If you are buying a boat this year, do yourself a favor. Get a marine survey on anything used, pull hatches and tap hulls on anything new, and never hand over a check at the boat show without doing your homework first.